2, 1, 2, 3. Hey everyone, welcome back to Music with Ryan. Thank you for joining me. In this week's featured lesson, we're going to take a look at an original composition I've entitled A minor study piece. So as the title states, it's going to be all about A minor. We're going to take a deep dive into learning to play and get you soloing in the key of A minor, all right? So as you saw and heard that arrangement there, I've got an A and a B part, rather long arrangement, and it's got a really cool yet simple chord progression as well, all right? And we're going to cover a handful of things in this lesson, being a study piece and all. One of the things we're going to work on is getting the right hand, getting kind of a flowing motion going on with the consecutive eighth notes, and we're going to work on how to keep the rhythm and your timing going when we're playing whole notes and half notes. In that B part, I created some space, right? We're going to hold on to some notes, and it's not always the notes you play. Sometimes it's the notes you don't play. And so we're going to work on how to keep, even when you play, we're going to, what do we got to do in the right hand to keep that flowing motion and keep us in the pocket, all right? We're also going to cover A minor scales, where I'm getting my ideas from. So we're going to look at pentatonic scales and natural minor scales. I have a whole video clip on talking about and demonstrating the scales that I'm using, all right? So we're also going to cover the rhythm in this lesson as well. Really cool rhythm lesson. Talk about the ornamentations I'm going to do. So again, simple chord progression, but really fun just to play rhythm along too, all right? So if you want to access this lesson, click the link down there below. It will shoot you on my website. It's going to come with nearly 60 minutes of video, downloadable PDF tabs for the arrangement and for the scales, the 2 sets of scales that I have. It's also going to come with full-length access to the rhythm lesson, the arrangement lesson, and of course a separate clip on talking about the scales. You'll be able to download the tabs and 4 speeds of audio backing tracks to help you work your speed up, and you can kind of jam along to once you learn the scales, start to improvise on your own a little bit as well. Now, if you really like the way I teach and approach learning, you like lessons like this, learn about being a premier member at the site. For a monthly, quarterly, or yearly fee, you can access this lesson in over 350 videos in all 3 of my courses. All right, give it a look if you enjoy my teaching methodology. All right, for now, we're going to start walking through the first few measures of A minor A minor study piece. Let's bring the camera on in. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy. All right, let's go ahead and start breaking down the lesson here for A minor study piece using A minor scales. We're going to be using both the natural A minor scale and A minor pentatonic scales. We're going to be kind of using a combination of both. And I'm also going to have a separate video clip where I go over the scales and just talk about them. I'll have some separate tabs for the 2 main positions that I'm using, although we're mixing a few different places, but there's 2 really main positions, first position, and then up here, and then adding natural notes in there. Okay, so, there'll be a separate clip, but for now we're gonna put the first 3 measures up on the screen here. We're gonna break it on down slow. The markings below the staff are pick directions, so pay close attention to that in order to execute the arrangement cleanly. And so here's the first few measures here. It sounds like this. Has a little pickup on beat 2, so almost a full bar of pickup. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. All right, so that first, in the first measure there, there's a quarter note rest on beat 1. That's what that first marking means, quarter note rest. And then we're going to start 0-3 on the A string. And then 0-2 hammer on the D. And then G, open G. And then back to that 2nd fret D. So very minor pentatonic here. 2 and 3 and 4 and of course, for those of you that don't know, hammer-ons, pull-offs, and slides will often, not always, but often take the place of a pick direction. And when we do that, we'll have a double up or double down. In this case, down, up, down, down, up. So there's a double down in the middle. And there's going to be some more complicated phrases down the line where we really want to make sure that pick direction's correct. And there might be places where there's, 3 ups in a row or 3 downs in a row. And things get a little bit more syncopated, right? A little more complicated. So again, hammer-ons, pull-offs, slides will often take the place of a pick direction. And if they really throw you off, then you can just take the hammer-ons, pull-offs, or slides, just take it out and put the right pick direction into place. So down, up, down, up, down, up. And it's down picks on downbeats, up picks on upbeats. So here we're hammering on to an upbeat, and so I have I can put an upstroke in there if I want. I did a up, So anyway, but I have a hammer on. Let's go on to the next measure now. 0-2 hammer on the G string. This whole measure is on the G string. So 1 and 2 and then 2 quarter notes on that G string. Pretty easy measure, right? And one of the things that we're going to be working on in this piece, along with kind of exploring the A minor scales, is we're going to try to get that feeling, that rolling feeling of the consecutive eighth notes. And even when we're playing, because there's lots of spots in this piece that we'll have like whole notes or half notes or, longer tied rhythms. And we want to still keep that right hand going up and down. And we want to keep like this rolling, this feeling of the rolling eighth notes kind of lightly going on in the right hand, even maybe when I'm not, okay? Because we don't want to just stand still in the right hand. And it'll make a little bit more sense when we get a little later on down the piece here, but this second full measure here kind of really starts that, that melody. I could have easily, treated it with a half note there, and whatnot, but I want that, or I could have done it all 8 notes. You know what I mean? There's a little bit of liberty there because the melody's on the A note. So we'll discuss more about that, but that's part of the lesson as well, is trying to get this 8th note feeling going on in the right hand, especially when we're playing at higher tempos. That's when things get tricky, right? So, and then the next measure, open G, 2nd fret, pull back to 0, then 2nd on the D, open G, open D. Ready, go. Quarter. So put all 3 of those measures together now. 2, 3, 4, 1. Again, 2, last time, go. 3, 4, 1. Okay. And then moving on to the next few measures, they sound like this. So measure 4, we're going to get over the C chord, and I do a little cross picking in there as well. 0-2 hammer on the D to start it, and then it's tied over to the down to beat 2. So nothing on beat 2. We just hold 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and then I make the rest of my C, and I cross pick here just a half a bar. B string, G, D, B. Okay. We're gonna do more of that, kind of the second pass through. So 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. So a little hold in there. And the next measure, open G, and then just strum that C chord. Okay, just the highest sounding 3 strings, right? G, B, and E. If you get more than that, that's okay. And then open D, 2nd fret D, pull to 0, 3rd fret A, and then next measure, we go to the G chord, but the melody is on the D note. Okay, so open D, 5th fret A, which is still a D note, and then open D. So a little bit of a drone there to give it some more energy, some more push, very common move. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then to finish out that measure, 0-2 on the A string. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the next measure here we have a half note. That's what the circle around it is. 3rd fret on the A string. So a half note there, 2 counts. And here's where a little bit of the right hand stuff that I was talking about earlier is we want to try to work on, and I'll demonstrate a little bit. But real quick, so 2 beats there, and then 0-2 hammer on the A string, and then back to A on the 2nd string. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Pretty simple measure, really. So now keeping that right, even though I have a half note, you have to hold, but I don't want my right hand just to stay still. I want it to still be going up and down at least a little bit, almost like you were strumming. You want to keep the flow, keep the rhythm. And I even sometimes I'll clip it. I'll add an extra 8th note in there to, really lightly. It's very nuanced, but to keep things flowing. You see how I keep I want you to watch my right hand here. And if you listen really closely, sometimes I give it a little extra 8th note. But I didn't mark that. I wanted to talk about that in demonstration. It could be all 8th notes there. It could be 4 8th notes, right? If you take a half note and break it down. So I want to hold because I don't want to just fill up the piece with consecutive 8th notes. That gets to be a little much. Sure, some places will be fine, but I want to have the space. Space is important, but I also want to keep that right hand moving. So, and if you add a few extra little 8th notes in there, that's okay, as long as you're landing in the right spots at the right time. But whoops, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let me play those 4 measures again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Last time, 2, ready, go. Kind of heard me with that right hand just a little bit. But I kept it going. So that's the big takeaway, or one of the big takeaways from this piece as well, because we're going to see it again down the line in the rest of this arrangement. All right, so let's move forward when you're ready. 2, 1, 2, 3.